So this is going to be way too much information, but what the heck? I uh, I ordered this product on TikTok, the source of the universe, 15-day colon cleanse. And it says, make sure to take it on a weekend. And I think, all right, well, I'll start on a Thursday because that way I'll have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I got to tell you, that thing kicked in. And it's been about 7 trips to the bathroom today. I reached out to Priyanka and I'm like, I don't think I can do this, but I'm calmed down now. So we're good. I think I can hang in for the next half hour. Anyway. Cascara Sagrada and Senna, very powerful combination, along with psyllium husk and MTC oil and all that. Anyway. So, good afternoon, everyone. Now that we're really good friends, now that we all know each other intimately, just so that you know I'm human. Oh my God. Anyway, well, thank you all for being here. My name is Lynn, and one of the things I love to do is teach people about the Akashic Records. I love to read the Akashic Records. I love to teach people how to read the Akashic Records. And it's part of my soul's mission. It's part of the reason that I'm reincarnated here on planet Earth. It's a promise that I made to God, and it's one of my favorite things to do. Let's see. What do I want to tell you? The Akashic Records are a quantum field of information that keeps track of literally every thought we've ever had, every word we've ever spoken, every action we've ever taken, the good, the bad, and the ugly, everything, every sense we've ever engaged, everything we've seen, everything we've smelled, everything we've tasted, everything we've touched, everything, like just all of it. And not only for this lifetime, but for every single incarnation ever. And that's a lot. I call it the spiritual iCloud, basically. And what happens is, as we go through these lifetimes, sometimes a circumstance happens where an energy comes towards us too quickly, or it's too big. And we're like, oh, no, I must not experience that. And then what happens is the universe goes, okay, what you resist persists. And they may have left that out of the instruction manual for humanity. And we're like, no, you understand, I can't deal with this. And the universe goes, okay, and keeps trying to give it to us. You ever have that experience of there's something that keeps like repeating itself time and time again? Well, that's what the universe does with our lives. And they go, oh, you can't handle it in this lifetime? Well, let us give you one of these and one of these and one of these and one of these. And then we have all these parallel lifetimes. And it's kind of like the spiral of the DNA, like it's just going to keep coming until we can handle it. So what I teach people are tools and techniques to be able to handle the energy when it comes. Okay, Priyanka's got us on live stream. Thank you for doing that. You're gonna have to teach me how to do that because I don't know how to do that. By the way, I started this new podcast. So a couple things you should know about me. I live in New York. I'm from New York. I love Jesus and I cuss a little, which is the picture that I use now for my podcast, which is perfectly called Jesus Christ, Not Another Fucking Podcast. So I channeled Jesus and about 25 other ascended masters. And he and I have a very different relationship. He's very different than the Jesus that's talked about in the Bible, the one that's talked about in the churches. He says to me, that is not my book and those are not my buildings. And he's basically an ascended master who came to earth to talk to us about how we're God, just like he is God. He doesn't want to be followed. He doesn't want followers. He's not anybody's guru. He's funny. He's irreverent. And he has a really wicked sense of humor. So anyway, that's who I channel. He and many others have brought a group of us together. And what we're here to do is to educate and help people to remember who they are. So if you're here, you're not here because of my dazzling personality and charm and good looks. You're here because Jesus brought you. It's either Jesus, Mary Magdalene, Hathor, Archangel Michael, Mother Mary, or any of the other, hundreds of ascended masters. And what they want you to do is to be able to have access to your own Akashic records. because there's some important information that's in there for you. So every time that we say no to an experience, it kind of goes as a book on the bookshelf. And then eventually we have to come back to that book and then open it up. And we have to deal with what's in there. And so those are some of the tools and techniques that I love to teach people. Because boy, it makes life easier and it makes life go faster when you give yourself access to your own soul, your own higher self. Does that make sense? That's really what this journey is all about. So today, my lovely assistant Priyanka, who has been with me for 4 years now, it's so funny. I found it coming up in August. I placed an ad on Facebook and I said, I'm looking for a psychic virtual assistant, someone who basically understands the kind of work I do and can understand me from the inside out. And 11 people responded. And I was just really drawn to Priyanka. And I said to her, are you psychic? And she said, oh, no. No. And the little voice in my head goes, she's lying, but it's okay. And I said, then what made you answer the ad? And she said, because I understand people from the inside out. And she does. Now, unbeknownst to her, and don't let her in on this, she's very psychic. So she's going to look into her magic crystal ball and she's going to choose one of you to be read today. I love this woman. She's seen me, alpha to the omega, soup to nuts, A to Z and back again, and she's my chief operating officer. She is the one in charge of telling me what to do. She's one of the few people in my life that I actually let boss me around, and she's really good at it. And I actually got the chance to meet her a few months ago. All of a sudden, I see this thing on Facebook about how she's working with one of my dear girlfriends, and they're going to be having an event in my hometown. And I call her up and I'm like, Priyanka, what the fuck? Were you going to tell me? She's like, I want to surprise you. And I said, well, I was surprised when I logged on to Facebook and I see you're coming into Hilton in my hometown to do an event. Anyway, it was delightful to see her. I couldn't love her more. And I will. I promise you that I will. I remember I said that one time to someone. I said, I couldn't possibly love you more. And he said, you can and you will. It's true. So let's see. What else can I tell you about the Akashic Records? Oh, you guys, we all have masters, teachers, and loved ones. And the masters, teachers, and loved ones are the ones that kind of help us with our journey. So the master is our oversoul, our higher self, our Holy Spirit, like whatever you want to call it. It's the one that kind of planned out this lifetime. So we've all been given free will. Yes? Does everyone agree with that? With free will, what we do is we will life into creation. We manifest everything that happens to us. And I know that there may be a lot of people that say, I didn't have anything to do with it. It was this one or that one who did it to me, or I'm the victim of this or that. Sorry, but none of that's true. And if you decide to walk into the realm of the Akashic Records, you need to understand that you're going to have to take radical responsibility for everything that's ever happened to you. I once had a mentor and he said, you have to take responsibility for the fact that you broke yourself so you can fix yourself. And another mentor of mine said, look, you get 2 lifetimes. You get the one that you were raised in and everything that happened to you. And then you get the one where you finally say at about 30, I think I'll start adulting. And the journey through the Akashic Records is one of the best ways because literally the record keepers will come, they'll open the books for you, and they'll say you need to work on these 9 things or these 100 things or these 4 things, whatever your number is. But you get to do it one at a time. And they could not possibly love us more. The journey through the records is one of the most profound and incredible emotional experience. The very first time I open the records, you say this prayer, part of it is said aloud, part of it is said silently. It still moves me to tears. And you then say the records are now open. And suddenly in front of me, through my mind's eye, these beings are jumping up and down and they're screaming at me, halls of Amenti, halls of Amenti, halls of Amenti. And I'm freaking out. So I close the records and I reach out to my teacher, Linda Howe, who at the time was individually teaching. This was 2017. And I was like, Linda, what the fuck just happened? She's like, they're really excited to see you. She said, go back in and ask them to slow down and calm down. And so I go back in and I'm like, hello? I'm just terrified. And they said, welcome back, beloved. We are very excited to see you. We have not seen you since our times together in Atlantis, where the halls of Amenti is where the Akashic records were kept. I was like, man, you can't make this stuff up, right? They said you are a guardian of the records and you're going to be teaching others how to remember to read the records. And I thought, I work at a bank. Are you kidding me? I'm a financial advisor. I deal with hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, what are you talking about? And they're like, well, that won't last. And the very next year, I ended up retiring. I'm 62 now. And this is what I do. I teach people how to open up their psychic abilities or God-given gifts from, God gave us this like little bag of tools that we come to earth with because we're spiritual beings having a physical experience. How many of us forget and think that we're actually our bodies? God knows I do. Sometimes I'm sure I'm my body, especially at 62 when my back is sore or my hair is gray. I'm sure that I'm my body, right? But we're not. We're these spiritual beings. So we were given clairsentience, clairaudience, clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairalliance, clairgusto, clairintellect, all these beautiful abilities above the physical abilities. So how many of you have the ability to communicate with spirit? Please raise your hand. Okay. And Kathy, I promise you that you do. First of all, your hair is fabulous. I promise you that you do. And here's what I promise you. Like, there's no way you tripped and fell into this masterclass. Do you know what I'm saying? You're here because spirit led you here, whether you're aware of it or not. There's just no other way that you're here. So, what spirit is asking for you to do is for you to come into a deeper and richer communication with them. I have a class that I call Clearing the Clairs, in which we measure your clairs and we find out on a scale of 1 to 1,000 or 1 to 10,000 or 1 to 10 or whatever your range is, how open each of your clairs are. And then if we find a score that's low, we go in and we look at the lifetime in which you close that down. And it might be that your clairvoyance is low and you can't see because you had a lifetime where they burnt your eyeballs out with coals, or clairaudience because you had the vision of seeing things, and they were like on. I mean, think of Joan of Arc, right? She's like, oh, I hear these voices and I'm going to lead France to victory. And then afterwards, they're like, excuse me, Joan, but we now need to put you to death because you hear voices. What the heck? Can you imagine that Joan would be like, yeah, I'm not going to do that again? So it's like that. But we help people to rehabilitate and open up those God-given abilities. The Akashic records are yours. You have the absolute God-given right to go in and read your own records. You can also read the records for others, but only with permission. And yes, there is a restricted section like Harry Potter, because there are things that there's just so much light it would burn you if you had the remembrance. Does that make sense? If you had the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding. They also want to make sure it's not a little bit like a Sorcerer's Apprentice thing where Mickey Mouse has gone wild with the mop while the wizard's away. So we kind of get fed along the way for what it is that we're ready for, and our eyes get more and more opened. So I have always kept on a scale of 1 to 10 my clairvoyance at about a 7, because I don't want to see him walking around the house. Like, I'm like, look, I'll deal with everything else that I hear and feel and know, but please not that. And recently I said, all right, I'm willing to see. So 2 mornings ago, I woke up and there's a woman and 3 men standing in my bedroom. And I'm like, oh, hell no. So I close my eyes and I'm like, I just have to go to the bathroom. I open my eyes, I go into the bathroom, I come back and they're gone. And I'm like, oh, Lord. So I go to one of my students who's really good with this stuff. And I'm like, what was that? And she said, they're there for your mother. I live in my mother's home. I take care of her. And they said, they're relatives of yours. And I looked and I went, oh, that's my grandmother. That's my grandfather. That's my father. And that's my stepfather. And they're all crossed over on the other side. And they said, your mother's heart is broken because she recently broke up with her boyfriend. And I'm like, yeah, she's really sad. And they're like, do something fun with her. So we just planned this trip to Hawaii that we're going to take together in September. She's so excited. I got her a little credit card to Michael's to buy yarn because she crochets shawls for people at church, just to keep her happy. So be careful what you ask for, because if you ask for it, Spirit's going to go, okay, here it is. Anybody know who Abraham Hicks is? Abraham Hicks is this incredible woman named Esther Hicks who channels a being by the name of Abraham. And they've been doing this for, I think, like 30 or 40 years. They travel around the world. I went to my first event on Saturday, and Esther was amazing. She's, I think, 74 years old. She's, like I said, she's been at this for a minute. And Abraham basically says, if you want to manifest anything, all you have to do is ask for it, and the universe goes ploink. Now, if they meet your resistance, or they're, I am not worthy, or I feel guilt, or I feel shame, or I shouldn't, or other people don't, or whatever, it hits this barrier, but it's like literally here waiting for you. And she says you have to allow yourself to receive. You know, the feminine is about receiving and allowing and letting, and the masculine is about the production. So the universe is like this great producer for us, and all we have to do is receive it. With the Akashic records, if you want to know any information, the book goes, here it is, and the information is right there. So for whoever is chosen, and please put your name in the comments if you're willing to be read, because we're public, we're on Facebook, this goes on YouTube. Nothing worse than when you're a psychic in a crowd and people, you say things to people and they're like, no, that's not true, because they're afraid you're going to find out their secrets. The Akashic records know everything. So you want to ask questions that are self-involved. Why do I feel this way? Why do I fear this? Why do I love this? Why am I fascinated with Paris and want nothing to do with Spain? Why am I terrified of spiders and I love snakes? Like, whatever your thing is, you know. Why do I hate carrots? Why do I love spinach? Things like that. Whatever your thing is. Why am I terrified of my father, and why am I obsessed with my brother? You know, the records will open the information for you. And then it's for you to be able to discern how that is that applies to your life. So one of the other things that I love to teach people is not only how to go into the records, but how to do healing within the records. And we actually take you to a realm where you can talk to your spiritual guidance. It's called a round table. Has anybody read Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill? Fabulous book, right? So in the book, he talks about talking to these invisible counselors. So you basically go to a round table, you talk to these invisible counselors. One of my mentors calls them the dead geniuses, to talk to the dead geniuses. And you can ask questions. And they will help direct you to understand why your life is the way that it is, why you have the physical afflictions that you do, the emotional issues, you know, the mental stuff that goes on. Any of that stuff that's in the way of you being the highest expression and channel of God's light. Because really, that's all we're here to do. We're here to be joyful, to be happy, and to not kill ourselves with a colon cleanse. Never again. My girlfriend goes, why would you buy something off TikTok? I'm like, because it's TikTok. Made sense to me. She's an acupuncturist. She literally hands me that emoji where you slap your head like, oh my God, what were you thinking? She's like, the next time you want to do a cleanse, ask me. I'm like, noted. Okay. Priyanka, is there anything I've forgotten? Why questions are the best questions to ask. You'll ask like 2 or 3 questions. The records will be forthcoming. It's going to be one of your master's teachers and loved ones. They're already telling Priyanka who she's supposed to pick. Let's see what else. What else?
Do you want to talk about your upcoming class?
Yeah, I got a class that's coming up. I'm going to be on the 18th. There's a early bird special. If you want to get trained to do any of this stuff, I love to teach people the stuff that I know how to do. I've got 31, about to be 32 certificates. I've been doing this work since 1989. I've mastered it. I love to do it. And there's a big fat discount, like $1,000 off on the class if you want to participate. And there's also a payment plan. Yeah, it's going to be really powerful. Matika's going to be in the class and a few others. I think there's like 10 in the class so far. Really powerful experience if you want to develop any of this for yourself or for others. I've literally had people take the class and like start a whole new career doing this spiritual work. But again, it's kind of on the fringe, you know? I was like, wait, what do you mean you want me to quit my job and tell everybody I channel Jesus? And give up my suits and pearls and stockings and purses and jewelry. And now I sit around the house in my little summer dress, and this is my life. But you know what? I love myself. Like, I've fallen madly in love with myself along the way. I still get my manicure done, and one of these days I'll get my hair cut again, but I'm loving it growing out. I shaved it last year. That was a trip. I didn't want to color it anymore. I was done with the whole coloring thing. Okay, so the class is called Transformational Alchemy. The same way that an alchemist turned lead into gold, I teach you how to turn your darkness into light. And that's the whole journey. You know, Lucifer in Outwitting the Devil, he says, I have 50% of every atom. My opponent has the other 50%. And his opponent, of course, is God. And I had an interesting conversation with Lucifer the other day. He's an archangel, first of all. He's God's favorite angel, angel of light, most beautiful angel. God goes to him, he goes, listen, I need you to go down to earth and I need you to do this thing for me. I'm going to create this race of beings. I'm going to give them free will, and they get to choose light over darkness. And he said, we're going to have this big pretend fight. I'm going to kick you out of heaven. You're going to fall to earth. You'll take a bunch of angels with you. They'll be the demons. And you get to be in charge of making sure that people have an opportunity to choose darkness over light. And Lucifer's like, got it. So, the big fight happens, come to earth. But Lucifer's killing the game. He says, I've got 98% of control of humanity because I've got people in something called hypnotic rhythm. And if people don't think for themselves, he said that 2% of the 98, 98 and 2, he said that 2% that learn to think for themselves, that learn to focus on what it is they want and don't get lost, that have definiteness of purpose, he said those are the most dangerous beings to me. And there is no being that is of greater service to God than Lucifer is, because he's keeping this whole thing, afloat right now. And he's like, humans are far nastier and far worse than I could ever have imagined. He said some of the things they do in my name, it's unbelievable. Actually, a very funny conversation. Conversations with the devil. But if you are going to have conversations with him, I highly recommend completing your soul contract. We sign a soul contract with Michael, and we sign one with Lucifer, and then we play out these lifetimes. But if you're gonna have conversations with him, I definitely recommend completing that contract. And it's easy to do. You get an angel feather, sign an angel blood, and you complete the contract. And he actually is very appreciative, because every once in a while he goes to God and he's like, can I come back home to heaven yet? And God's like, we're not done. Not until the last human being makes that choice. And he's like, oh. There was this movie I was obsessed with in the early 80s called The Rocky Horror Picture Show. And there's a character. She's like, I grow weary of this place. And I can just hear Lucifer. He's like, I really would like to come home. Like, can we be done with this human experience? And it's like, no, we keep choosing the darkness. Does this make sense? Listen, it may sound crazy, but I promise you, I've done my homework on this one. Anyway. Okay, so I am an oracle, I am a psychic, I am a medium, and when I open up your records, it's your masters, teachers, and loved ones that come through. I got to move this over here because the plug is the power is about to go out. So step over the cat. Over here. Plug in. I go into a trance, so it's not me. It's them coming through with their wisdom and information for you. Okay, I think that's everything, right? That's everything. Okay. Bianca keeps me on top. Okay, I think we're ready. So, who do you have for us today, my dear?
Anne, Annie, Alexandria, however.
Anne. Anne, what's on your hat? Hi.
Hi, it's a windmill.
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm heading to the Netherlands in a couple of weeks. Very excited about that. Is it representative of anything in particular?
It's Mary Chapin Carpenter.
She's a musician. I mean, a musician.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Is that Hebrew behind you?
Yes.
Cool. Do you study Kabbalah or the Zohar or anything like that?
My boyfriend, I wish I could, these are like all, he's a scholar in Freemasonry. And so he,
Oh, they're
not
cool.
for the fraternity of it, but he does a lot of the sacred texts and
Mm. Oh my God, I love that.
translates.
I
Yeah.
have a bookshelf of all of that over there. I have the full Zohar. I have
Yeah.
so many spiritual books and a bunch over here. I love all that stuff. Obsessed. Obsessed. I went to Israel back in 2009 with my Kabbalah community. It was an incredible journey. I just taught myself the Aramaic letters, which was a heck of a deal, a heck of a journey. They might want to tell. So he probably has these, but this is Rabbi Ginsburg, this incredible book that's called, oops, the Hebrew letters. So Hebrew is on the front of the letter and Aramaic is on the back, because when Moses came down off the mount the first time with the 3 tablets with the 15 laws, and he saw them with the golden calf and he threw them to the ground. What happened was the tree of life became concealed, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil is what became revealed. This is also another really amazing book that I used by the Rothberg, called The Energy of the Hebrew Letters. And then Lars Muehl wrote some really cool books that were about the numerical value, the geometry of the books. I'd probably have a very fun conversation with your guy. Love that.
I'm sure.
I'm into all things like woo and spiritual and mystical and all that kind of stuff. I have books upon books upon books upon books. My mother's like, "What are you doing with all these books?" Like, "Don't you touch my books." My books and my cat. That's pretty much it for me. My books and my cat. And of course, all the students and clients and friends that I have and family. Okay, it's all important. I mean, who am I kidding? All right. All right, Annie Bobani, here's what we're going to do. I need your full legal name. Hold on, I need a pen to write this down. It's like how you would sign a legal document is the spelling that I need. Give me a piece of paper. Hold on, my love. Hold on. Oops. Okay. Because the Akashic records know you by that name. Okay. So, like how you would sign your taxes. Give me that name.
Anne, Anne, Barley, B as in boy, Arli as in India, E as in echo, B as in boy.
Okay. I know your name. Why do I know your name?
We've been on a ride together.
Oh, well, it's great to have you here. Thank you so much. Have you been here before?
I have. I came when David Young was at your place.
Oh my God, David. I think he's in California making TV shows or movies or something like that. Well, it's great to see you. Thank you. You were here before we had all the furniture. So this is what this room looks like now. It has books and furniture, and it's very, very different than when David was here all those years ago. I think we had 33 chairs in the room. We sold the room out. It was very fun. Yeah, David's incredible. Good Lord. Good Lord. Okay. So we're going to go in, ask them whatever you want. They're going to interact with you. They're going to talk with you. So when they come in, it's a very, very different experience of me, because they, I don't know, it's between you and them. So that's all I have to say about that. Okay. No middle name?
Well, I don't use it to sign a document, and it's a little bit, I was adopted as an infant. And
Mm,
so anytime I'm asked this question, I'm never sure. Like, I know on my birth certificate, I was Stacy Telford. That's what my birth mother named me. Um, it's a little bit complicated, that part of my life, and that's kind of what my questions are about. Like, I was adopted as an infant in 1981 and then reunited with my biological family in 2018. And, you know, my birth mother's dead, but my sisters found my birth certificate in her pocketbook after she died, and that's how I learned my name was Stacy Telford. But legally
Goosebumps.
today, what's that?
I said I got goosebumps. So
Yeah.
they're already starting to come in. All right.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for telling me both names. Whew, there's a swoosh of energy coming in. Okay, here we go. The screen is expanded. The battery is plugged in. The cat is settling. Ooh, this one's coming in strong, hard and fast. Okay. So there's some yawning that happens as I transition, as they start to come in. And then I'm going to say the prayer. Part is said aloud, part of it is said silent. I already told you that. And then they will announce the records are now open. Wow, there's a lot here. Okay. Ooh. And so we do acknowledge the forces of light, asking for guidance, direction, and courage to know the truth as it is revealed for our highest good and the highest good of everyone connected to us. Oh, Holy Spirit of God, ooh, help me to know Anne in the light of the Akashic records. To see Anne through the eyes of the Lords of the Records and enable me to share wisdom and compassion with the masters, teachers, and loved ones of Anne before her. Hmm. 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 The records are now open, beloved one. Hmm. Beloved, we thank you for heeding the call to come, to be with us in this moment of this time space continuum. Hmm. We have brought you forth for the many questions that you have, which we are happy to answer for you, precious one. Mm. So come to us and allow us to be of the greatest assistance to you. What queries do you have for us today?
I think how I can best utilize my life experiences, or I'm at a point of kind of transition in my life, and I'm wondering how I'm what would be the best way to kind of leverage my life experience for my purpose.
Mm. Your purpose, beloved one, is for you to educate. You are an educator. Mm. The most effective way would be for you to write of your experiences. You would not believe how many people like you as a child did not understand why they did not feel as if they were with a family of origin. Remember those moments when you were young, when you felt that there was something that was missing, when you felt that you did not have all of the information, when you knew that there were parts of you that were distant from you, and you did not know how to connect them. There are many that are like you. Beloved one, for you to begin to write a book by writing about your journey would allow you to be a teacher to many. Many will be drawn to you by this epic tale. Many will feel compassion. Many will feel a calling and an understanding. The question is, are you willing to reveal yourself to these depths, to humanity at large?
Yes, I think so. I guess something I'm often find myself wondering about is I've come to know and understand a lot of things, and I'm not exactly sure where my knowledge fits in to the larger picture. So I find myself often, and I do write a lot, I write prolifically, but I've been reluctant to publish because um, the one thing in particular is around the medical, the pituitary tumor. Um, and I'm not sure whether the way that I understand it is aligned with the greater plan of things, if that makes sense.
Beloved, understand that there are many that have calcification around their pituitary gland, as this is one of the most psychic centers of the body. And there is much that can be done to help to release the energy that has been trapped. Things like the use of cream of tartar, the use of crystals, the use of light. Beloved, you must understand that everything that has happened and occurred to you is done through design. You sat down with your team prior to this incarnation and you laid out this entire design. The question is, beloved, are you willing to remember your part in creation? Or your part in creation is the story that needs to be told. Or there are many that have walked the path that you walk, that are currently walking the path that you walk, that have not yet found their way to the realms of truth that you have. And you could be a guiding light. We understand your reluctance. But beloved, it is now the time of the great reveal. It is now the time of the great remembering. And you have been brought forth for what we have to say to you. It is time for you to share your words, your path, your journey. You are being very selfish in keeping all of this to yourself. Would you understand this, beloved one? You have a gift, do you not? It is meant to be shared with the world at large, and you are keeping it to yourself. There is fear behind that. Can you feel that, beloved?
Yeah, I guess sometimes I'm not clear about whether it's fear or whether I'm trying to be really obedient. Like the prayer that I often say, which you must know, like I I, I often say, God, you know what I know, you know what my gifts and talents are, you know where I am, you know who I know. If something's supposed to be done with this, then you have to make it emphatically clear,
Beloved,
and move my feet.
let us make this emphatically clear to you. You have been brought here now to have this conversation with us, for us to say to you, it is time for you to move your feet. It is time for you to take what you have held from within and bring it without. Beloved, Yeshua made a statement quite clearly that was documented in the Gospel of Thomas. If you bring forth what is within you, what is within you will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what is within you will destroy you. You have been keeping that which is within you to yourself. This is your moment to say, beloved, it is time to bring this forth. Do you understand?
Okay. Okay. I am curious then, am I meant to do it alone? And the reason I ask is that since the suicide attempt in 2015, which this particular issue was, you know, a driving factor, because I was so discouraged when I tried to bring this forth full bore at the Command and General Staff College, and I felt like I was really being discouraged, and I wasn't sure whether that was a human thing or a spiritual thing happening,
The timing
but it
was not yet
happened.
aligned, beloved.
What's that?
The timing was not yet aligned,
I've
and
thought that. Yeah.
you thought correctly.
Okay.
And now is the timing, beloved one. You will find that you will not be met with resistance. You will find that you will be met with arms flung wide open. You will find that there will be assistance for you. You tend to still have a negative connotation for your journey. You tend to still think less of yourself. You tend to not be able to see the magnificence that you are. We look upon you, you see an angel of light. We look upon you, you see something that is broken. That is not the truth of you, beloved. We would ask you to be able to look with our eyes on you. You look at others and you see that there are things that they have and you think that you do not possess them. But beloved, you could not see them for who they are if that did not exist within you. Do you understand?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
attracts like. If you recognize it in another, you must understand that it also exists within you. That is the only way that it could come within your frequency. The desires that you have, the hopes that you have, the dreams that you have, beloved, are here for you to manifest them. They have been given to you by your higher self wisdom. And the only reason that they appear is that you too are meant to manifest them. To write the book that touches the hearts of many, to tell your story of these moments in which you turned in upon yourself, rather than reveling in your glory, in your light. You allowed yourself to walk the pathway of darkness, but look at you now. You have emerged, have you not?
Yes. Yeah, I definitely feel as though things are shifting.
Beloved, if you focus upon what it is that you want and what it is that you desire, it cannot help but be made manifest. How many books do you have inside of you? What is the first number that comes to your mind? You are taking too long.
Yeah, like, well, an untold is the I mean, what came to mind immediately was like an untold number, but I mean, I'd say 100 or something. A lot. Volumes. I mean, it's volumes of books.
Yes. Begin with the first one. When would you be willing to deliver your first volume?
Mm, I mean, I feel comfortable writing. I don't know about, I have recently had glimpses of maybe putting together like a series of poetry, but um the actual producing of the book itself is not clear to me how or when that happens. And I've been saying for a long time of my writing that I'm not writing for a specific goal. I just write because I love to write. And so I don't know what that looks like, or um I
Are you
don't,
willing to find out?
am I willing to what?
Find out.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I've said for a long time, I mean, and when it comes to what I want, and a lot of manifestation groups and classes I've been in talk about that clarity of focus and things, but I find myself so often um saying thy will be done, and I don't know, um so it makes me kind of reluctant to name a specific thing. And so many things have happened in my life. I was reading my poetry at the White House last month by invitation, and that's not a goal that I had. So I know amazing things are happening. Um, but I've not been able to name a specific thing I want to see happen, or a deadline. Which I know goes against all the manifestation things, but that's just kind of been the way my practice has been. But I'm willing to ask and to find out. Um, when I've
Beloved,
asked,
there is still a part of you that is attempting to do it your way. You keep saying, thy will be done, and then you step on it as one would crush a flower. And you say, I will do it my way. Do you know that moment that you have?
um,
It is a switch that flips within the mind.
okay, I'm not consciously aware of it, I don't think, but um, I mean, I've found myself doing more and more things that are completely not characteristic of myself, and I like to try to be less regimented in my way. Um,
Beloved, what if you allow yourself to completely surrender? Surrender to divine will. Your will is still very strong. There is a stubbornness, there is a tenacity within you. And this is what we are asking you to surrender, to relinquish. Are you willing?
oh yes, 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 I am very much. Um, yeah, I'm absolutely willing to surrender. And I would like, I mean, I guess that would be my like, how can I mean, best do that, or do it better than what I'm doing it now?
Beloved, you just flipped. Surrender does not ask, how do I? Surrender surrenders and allows it to come. Do you understand what just transpired?
Yes. Okay. I
You
do. I
said,
see that.
I am willing to surrender. And then you say, but how do I do that? In a tug of war, one party must be willing to end the war by dropping the rope. You drop the rope and then you pick it back up and you say, but how do I do that? Drop the rope, beloved, and trust and have faith that the universe will deliver to you what it is that you truly desire. But you keep picking up the rope and saying, but tell me how to do that. Drop the rope, beloved, and walk away and allow it to come to you. Have faith, sure and certain knowledge that it will come to you. We ask you to publish that which you have written. You say you will do that. Allow the universe to now conspire for your greatness, to come together and say, here is how we will do this. Someone will come to you with suggestions. Rest upon the laurels of complete surrender, beloved. This is our sage wisdom to you. This is why you have been brought forth to have this conversation with us. Surrender, beloved. Allow yourself to receive. Bring the feminine aspect of creation forth. The babe in the mom's belly is not forced as much as the mother will attempt to push the baby forth. The baby comes when the baby is ready. Unless the child is cut open and yanked. That is not how this creation will occur for you, beloved. You must have faith that there is a divine process so profound that it will be birthed from you. Do you understand?
Yes, yes. Yes, I do.
Your mind is very masculine in its efforts, and it is time for you to soften into the feminine aspect of self. From there, your creations will be made manifest. It is not from the mind, beloved, but from the heart, in conjunction with the mind. Understand that co-creation. Imagine figure 8 as it weaves and brings forth your manifestation. We thank you for coming forth, beloved. Thank you for answering the call. This is the work of your higher self wisdom. And there are many more conversations to be had, and we shall continue to do those with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we are with you always. Greetings and salutations, beloved one. We would recommend that you allow yourself to listen to this thrice more. Until we speak again, beloved one, this transmission is complete. It's a really big energy. Whew. Okay, let me say the closing prayer. I would like to thank the masters, teachers, and loved ones for their love and compassion. I would like to thank the lords of the Akashic records for their point of view. I would like to thank the Holy Spirit of light for all knowledge and healing. The records are now closed, amen. The records are now closed, amen. The records are now closed. Oh, whew. You're in there for a while.
Thank you, Lynn.
You're welcome, Mom. You're very, very welcome. Hope you got everything that you needed. Whew. All right, my darlings, thank you so much for being here. We made it through Infinite Free. I'm very pleased. And if you wish to participate with us, we have the class that starts on the 18th. We are here a couple Fridays a month. And yeah, there's always answers to every question. They're still pulling the energy. Right. Love to all of you. Thank you again for being here. And we'll see you all again soon. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Blessings and love.
Thank you.